welcome to the World Predictions podcast with me, your host, Psychic Selina. And this week we will be discussing more predictions that came in with some updates from me. And stay tuned later for our paranormal topic of the week, which is stone circles, and especially with a viewer's story about Stonehenge. Okay, we're going to start with what's been coming in this week, in the last 7 days. So there's been a lot of predictions or things coming in around the war in Ukraine. Now, I made a prediction very recently, over the last few weeks. It was actually a prediction at the beginning of September that I'd made, that I saw the peace talks that were supposed to be happening between Zelensky and Putin being delayed. And I saw that if they did happen, nothing really would come of them. And I just kept seeing escalations in this war. I also made a prediction around 2 to 3 years ago. I've made it several times over the last 2 years plus. I even remember saying it to someone around 5 years ago, actually, that I saw something to do with Russia being in or going into Poland's territory or region. And this would spark off or trigger concerns linked to the start of World War III, especially connected with NATO. That was my actual prediction. I've said it on various podcasts. I've said it on my live events. I've said it quite a lot. Now, this actually happened where Russia went into the airspace of Poland. They also went into Estonia and I think Romania. Someone else said there was something with Italy as well. Now, Russia say that it was just routine aircraft exercise, but NATO are taking it very seriously. So this prediction has come in that I actually saw the link to Poland. I didn't get any of the other countries. I just saw Poland being the main one, and that was actually the first country Russia went into the airspace. So I am seeing escalations, and I am seeing that there will be a war coming with linked and involving NATO. UK and America are NATO countries. I do see before this war commences or gets more escalates, I'm seeing that there will be members of NATO, people in high positions trying to get peace and negotiations. They will try. So I'm not seeing an immediate war. I'm seeing a very slow, gradual build up. I'm actually seeing war in two places. So the two places that are going on already, I'm seeing escalations in both areas. So this is with Israel and Gaza. I'm seeing that escalate linking Iran. I'm also seeing like a third Gulf War that I do see involving NATO at some stage, but I feel it's a very short-lived NATO operation with the Gulf, but I especially with the UK. So UK will get involved, but I'm seeing it will be very short. Their involvement will be very short. And I always have a vision of a UK fighter jet being intercepted and shot down by a Hamas missile, I think it is. That's what I saw. Or something to do with Hamas, a Hamas missile, a Hamas fighter jet, but a UK jet being intercepted. Maybe they're going to try and keep the peace there. UK will go and NATO will try and keep the peace there if things escalate or when things escalate, and routine flight exercise to keep everything peaceful, and then suddenly the UK jet gets intercepted. That's what I saw, and I don't know the timing for that, but I'm seeing that. I'm also seeing that the two wars that are going on at the moment, so the Ukraine war and the Israel-Gaza war, that will eventually link in with Iran, because the headquarters of Hamas are in Iran. One of the HQs is there. And I'm seeing these two wars eventually merge into one war. And I'm seeing China being neutral, but being in the background, maybe funding resources for everyone, basically. So I'm seeing China being neutral. People have asked me about China, but I'm seeing like a large war. And I don't see the war being like everywhere in the world. I see it being very contained in specific areas, mainly the areas that it is happening in now. So it's very much contained. It's not going to be like how World War One or World War Two were, where there's loads of areas like cities being bombed and things. I'm not seeing that. And I'm also seeing that, yes, I do see people signing up to actually go and fight in the war or be part of this war, especially when NATO get involved. But I'm seeing that most of the war will be fought by drones and AI and robots. I don't like robotic technology. It's not so much people. That's what I'm actually seeing. So this is actually a very dark energy. When I tune into this war, my mind boggles. My mind rarely boggles because I see loads of visions. But my mind is boggling. So I urged people not to tune in because it is dark energy. It's actually demonic energy, and you mustn't tune into it. And I feel there is more to come. I feel it's in stages. It feels very start-stop. I also see a very big prediction I made this last 7 days was that I see an incident with a nuclear war submarine. So it's not a nuclear incident, but it's an incident with a special type of submarine. It's called a nuclear submarine. It's for war, so it's nuclear powered basically. And this nuclear submarine will be torpedoed in some way. It will be exploded. It will happen. I feel it is happening quite soon, like in the coming weeks, several weeks ahead. And I feel that this submarine being torpedoed is very strongly linked to Russia. There is a link. And I feel this could actually escalate World War III with NATO being involved even more. Like this is an escalation. The big escalation is going to be something with an attack on the Statue of Liberty. So I always say to people, look at the crown. Something will happen with the crown of the Statue of Liberty. That will be a very, very big catalyst for a World War III. So I see two wars that merge into one war. I don't think the merge is this year. That's what I will say. But I do think things will escalate. I think the submarine is this year, the incident with the submarine. So coming now into another prediction I made actually this week, which is to do with the ICE raids in America. And I actually predicted that when JD Vance takes over as president, she will do, I feel, next year, it'll be a slow takeover as well. It won't be straight away. He'll be given duties, extra duties, and then he will be sworn in. And this is due to Donald Trump's health issues. I always say that I feel that Donald Trump will have an assassination attempt. He will live, he will survive, but the attempt will have affected his health more. And I do see he has health problems that will decline. His health will get worse, and I do see eventually him having to step down on doctor's orders because he's simply not going to be well enough. It could be to do with heart issues, strokes, ischemic heart disease. These are all the things that I pick up: kidney failure, issues with his waterworks, his bladder, it could even be his prostate, it could be his kidneys, kidney stones. I mean, I've explained all of this before. And no one really knows what that bruise thing is on his hand. He always seems to cover that up. So I do see more health issues. But with JD Vance, I see the prediction was this week that when he takes over as president, the ICE raids will stop. They will stop completely, because I'm seeing JD Vance have new policies. He will bring in his own policies. What I wanted to say in general with presidents and world leaders is that they are all puppets. The world is a stage, and there is a lot of puppeteering going on. Now, some presidents and world leaders have better intentions than others. Some are very corrupt. Some have good intention. It is all different. With JD Vance, I actually feel he has good intention. He may still be a bit of a puppet, but I do feel inside him he has good intention when I tune in, and I am quite good at tuning into people's energies and characters. I think with Trump, he thinks he's right, and I think with Trump, he also can be quite outspoken. He thinks he has good intention, but I think there is a darker side of Trump which is his ego, and I think it's his ego that gets the better of him sometimes. So they are very, very different people. JD Vance and Trump, very different people. But I actually feel JD Vance is waiting patiently for his turn to be president. He wants to be president, and I've looked at his astrology chart, and he will be president. He's got a Leo with a Leo rising, so Leo sun, Leo rising, Libra moon. I think his north node was Libra as well. I know Mae West, the actress, was a Leo rising. They usually become quite well known in the public eye. Very, very strong, commanding energy with Vance, but he does it in a very passive way. So he's not an aggressive alpha male. He is an alpha male, but he's not an aggressive alpha. He's more of a passive alpha. So I'm just going to answer some of your questions. So somebody asked, will there be a digital currency and digital ID? One of my predictions a while ago was that, yes, there would be a cashless system, digital currency. It will then go into, so it will be how the currency is now, dollars, euros, sterling, but it will be a digital version. It will then go into a single currency where it's just a one world currency that will be called something. It's a very specific name. I haven't got the name yet. I'll try to get it for you, but it's not a euro, it's not a sterling, it's a one world currency. Now, I don't know if the UK will be involved in it, or the US. So the UK could, because when I tune into sterling, there's still sterling there, and there might still be dollars. So I think it will be a bit like the euro. So instead of euro, it will be a one world currency. But I have a feeling some countries like America and UK will still keep their currency. But I do think the euro will change. This is very interesting. I have to tune in more to this, but this is what I'm seeing. Or it could be that UK don't want to be involved in it and then they join later. Yeah. Digital IDs, yes. Starmer is saying the UK Prime Minister, he wants digital IDs. There are good points, there are bad points. So pros and cons to this. Yes, I do see digital IDs. I think the cons could be that the government has full control of your entire information, your banking information, your ID, everything in a digital format. So they would have control over that. I also think cash is good. I personally like to pay in cash a lot. I think that digital currency has its downside. But I think the good thing they said about digital currency was it prevents money laundering or something like that. But I'm not sure, because I still think there could be fraud online. It would be a digital fraud. Digital frauds and things could still prevail. So the digital ID will be really controversial, but I think it could come in within the next 2 to 3 years, actually. And finally, my prediction was about the electrical blackouts. I made this prediction much, much earlier in the year, and it happened in Spain and I think Portugal. over the summer, the spring summer. My prediction is still standing that I do see electrical blackouts and power cuts and cyber attacks in the United Kingdom. And I do see it in other countries as well in Europe, but I'm seeing one particularly in England, the United Kingdom. I would say within the next 6 months. I think it could be due to a cyber attack technical issue. I don't think it's to do with a solar flare, but they could say, oh, they think it might be a solar flare. They don't know. I'm seeing that this won't be a long blackout. It'll be like 36 hours maximum. It could just be a day. So that's what I'm actually seeing, but it could be like staggered. So one happens in the UK, or one happens in the southeast, and then another couple of weeks later, a week later, it happens somewhere else. Maybe then another country it happens, and you start seeing it happening all over Europe, and you're thinking, and it is mainly Europe I'm seeing, and it's like, oh, what's going on here? So this is going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Now, someone has asked me about Nigel Farage. Will he be Prime Minister? No, he won't, because he will resign due to a scandal that emerges about him. He will resign in a similar time frame, around the same time as when Keir Starmer resigns. I get in November, October, November. Again, predictions with timing are tricky to pinpoint, but I do see a new Prime Minister. It's very suddenly being elected in November, could be end of November. So Farage will be replaced by somebody else. Next party to win the general election will be Conservative. It's always Labour and Conservative, and that's because of the Freemasonry, and not a lot of people know that. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the fun things that came in, because there was, well, that one wasn't very fun, but there was two things that came in. The first one was a special type of diamond that is in the shape of a flower. So I saw a diamond coming out of a flower, as I do with my visions, and it was in fact called, it's the world's first flower orchid. It's patented, so it's called a Ochera orchid flower solitaire diamond. And it's like a flower-shaped diamond solitaire. It's the world's first. So that came in. Nice jewelry prediction for you. The second one was I saw beef burgers, the meat of beef mince burgers, being recalled due to some sort of contamination or bacteria. And that's happened in Australia. And it was contaminated with metal, it was sort of had toxins or bacteria in it, but it was definitely recalled, and it was quite a big thing in the news recently. So we'll look out to see more of my fun predictions. Some of them are lighter hearted, some of them are more serious. Now, to follow all my predictions and updates, you can subscribe free to my YouTube channel, which is, this podcast is on there as well. And that is called Soul-Voyance. And you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and Substack as well. And the name is Soul-Voyance. Just look for Psychic Selina and her well predictions. So, and also I'd like to say, if you would like to book a reading, the link to my website is under this video, or the link is in my bio. And we are now talking about the paranormal topic of the week, and that is stone circles. So we were talking about timelines last week and how we can change them. One of the ways to alter or reverse your timeline is through stone circles. This is because they are circle shaped, and they are actually built on ley line crosses. So that's where there's like an energy point, an energy portal, that if you walk around it 7 times, you can actually activate that portal, and it's all very, very mathematical. When I did my stone circle ritual, I actually went to 7, and I walked around each one 7 times, I then had a very strange out-of-body experience where I came out of my body and it felt like I was in two places at the same time as I was leaving my body, and then the old body sort of disappeared and then I was present in just one body. And I was so anxious after that, I almost wanted to call an ambulance, and then I realized the ambulance could not help me. But it was to do with a timeline change that I went through. And I particularly found a very strong experience of that after St. Paul's Cathedral, because St. Paul's Cathedral has a very strong stone circle. It's not there anymore, but where you see the dome, under that dome is a very strong point. And that's where I did one of the walking around 7 times, and then I actually felt 9 days later this out-of-body experience. There's also one in Westminster Abbey. So there used to be a stone circle there. I did a lot of research and then I went to a few others. But I'm now going to read out one of my viewers' stories because he actually lives near Stonehenge and he is called Tommy. So Tommy says, when we have gone for solstice, the energy is amazing, but that's generally down to those that are chanting, etc. Day to day, you're not allowed to touch the stones, but on solstice you can. Wow, I didn't know that. Maybe I'll go on the solstice. I was actually personally not interested in going to Stonehenge because of the rituals that's happened there. So I felt there was dark energy there. I didn't get a great feeling. So that's why I chose St. Paul's Cathedral and the other places. He says, the rocks seem to be exceptionally warm, even in the winter solstice. When you lay your hand on the stone for a while, your hand becomes super warm. There has also been lots of sightings of UFOs, but there is also a huge number of military bases surrounding that area, so the sightings are more than likely from that. But it does bear the question as to why they decided to surround them particularly. There are hundreds of miles of land they could have used, but they didn't. They're also situated on ley lines, lines that connect our historical landmarks with one another, which many of not all pyramids are built upon. So pyramids, Stonehenge, even the pyramids on and the face on Mars in Sidonian City, they're all connected through a mathematical grid. And if you watch my Michael Feely interviews that I've done on my YouTube channel, under the podcast section, you will hear him talking about this in detail. So Tommy also says, they are also situated on, we talked about the ley lines. Pyramids are built upon. Glastonbury town is built upon these ley lines too, and the energy there is insane, a place where pagans are drawn to. Thank you very much, Tommy, for your insight on the stone circles. So if you want to share any spiritual, paranormal, ghost stories, anything that is unusual that you want to share with me so I can read it out, leave the comments under this video, or if you're listening on Podbean, leave a comment and I will write it down and make sure, or screenshot it and make sure I read it out. That's it for this week's podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Substack to Soul-Voyance. And I am Psychic Selina. I'll say bye for now.